Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Midwest Mythos. Guys, got another heater lined up for you guys. And this one is going to be extra fun for me because I finally got somebody on the show that knows the areas I'm always talking about. I got myself another Michigander with me this evening, and it's going to be fun. But before we get into that, guys, 1 year of Midwest Mythos next week. Thank you guys for getting me through this year. It's been awesome meeting every single one of you guys, talking to you, collabing with you, all that good stuff. And I appreciate it a lot. So I'm going to have the regular episode drop next week, but also doing a 1 year live stream. I will have the links and stuff posted for that. You'll see some familiar faces popping on, talking with me. We're going to have a good old time. Got a new logo coming your way. Cleaning up the intro, maybe adding a little bit of tidbits to make it extra special for y'all. But I know y'all like that so much that you don't want me to change it too much. So don't worry about that. But with all that being said, this evening I got John with me. How's it going, brother?
Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, congratulations on the 1 year, man. That's a huge milestone.
Thank you, thank you. Actually, I just realized something. I'm speaking like I'm dropping this episode tomorrow. All right, guys. So 1 year from the time, if you guys are listening to this on drop day, 1 year is tomorrow. So Tuesday we'll have the episode drop. The 1 year thing will be on the Wednesday. So John, welcome. You're the 1 year show.
Dude, awesome, man. Thank you. I feel honored, man. Well, why not do a 1 year episode with not only a Michigan guy, but we're like 40 miles apart. Like, we're pretty close.
Yeah, basically, in the grand scheme of things, basically neighbors.
Dude, absolutely.
Went to school a couple towns over from each other. So, yeah, man. It's a culmination because most of the stuff I have talked about on this show has taken place in that little part of Michigan. So it'll be nice to give refreshers to everybody because a lot of it I talked about early on in the show. So,
We're going to cover it tonight, man. I mean, we have a lot to cover in this southwest corner of Michigan here.
yes, sir. But before we get into that, I know you got your own shows.
I
Why don't
do.
you, why
So,
don't you tell us about those?
I'm a co-host on a different podcast. It's called Whitetail Advantage. It's all about hunting and bow hunting. I grew up hunting and living in the outdoors, and I don't know about anyone else, but for me, hunting, being outdoors, and the cryptids just go hand in hand. I mean, like we were talking about earlier, if I'm not in the woods deer hunting or elk hunting in the fall, I'm in the woods looking for cryptids. I mean, I've explored all over the state. We've talked about the Manistee National Forest. I'm up there constantly just backpacking and looking through stuff. And I just love being outside. And yeah, that's about it.
Nice, man. Yeah, you are right, though. Hunting, whether it be for deer, pheasant, any duck hunting, all that kind of stuff, most of the time, it's funny too, listening to all these stories. I know you mentioned Uncomfortable and like Sasquatch Chronicles. It seems like almost every story that you got a hunter out there, they're just hunting and they have some experience. They don't even believe in this stuff. It's just they see it because they're out there hunting.
Absolutely. And, being a hunter, I'll be in a tree or hunting from the ground, and you're more in tune with your senses. You're looking for that little movements. You're listening for that deer, or in the winter, you're small game hunting, whatever. Your attention to detail is such. It's on a whole nother level than just your random hiker going through the woods.
Mm-hmm.
So you see something out of out of normal. You're like, oh, you're constantly focused on that, and that's really like when I'm out hunting, I'm also like, man, I hope I see something paranormal. I hope I see a cryptid or something like that. Um, I've heard stuff out there. I I'm not 100% sure I've ever seen anything, but I'm always looking, man. I'm wanting that encounter.
Yeah, always got that head on the swivel, ready to take on whatever shows itself. Man.
Oh, absolutely.
It's it'll happen one day. Hopefully, I think it's just a matter of the right time, right place. Because I've gone out mostly towards like the Bridgman, Michigan, Indiana border. I've done a lot of research out in like the state parks and stuff out that way. It never really had anything happen. Hear stuff every once in a while, think you see something out the corner of your eye. But then you got people like my wife, they're just driving down the highway and sees a dog man.
Oh man, see that's I, part of me wants to do that. Wants to just drive down the highway and see him from afar. Like, man, that was Dog Man or that was Bigfoot. Just because you had that false security of your truck or your car, knowing good and well that if they wanted to, they would just rip you out of that vehicle and just make you into a pink mist.
Oh, 110%. No struggle for them.
No, not at all. Because there's that truck driver from Manistee, or that was driving through the Manistee area.
Oh, Joe Barger.
Exactly. Like, man, it could have turned so different for that dude.
Can we just talk about how wild that experience was? Dude's just changing his tire,
Yeah.
sees a shadow, just starts taking off, and it jumps on the side of his car, man.
Yeah, like, could you imagine that happening? Like, it would hit you, and you would have no idea what it was.
No, I feel like I would just go into shock, to be honest.
That's when the whole fight or flight happens, and then you turn around and see what you're fighting against, and you're just like, you couldn't do it. There's no way you would win in that fight.
See, and the fact that he mag dumped this thing with his pistol and just, I don't even know I can't even remember what size round he was using. I think might have just been like 9 mil.
I think it was. I think it was a little 9 that he had, but still, like you put on average, we'll say the mag held 12 rounds. You put 12 rounds of 9 mil into something, it's gonna feel it.
Yeah.
And up in that area, you have black bear. There's cougar
Mm.
sightings up there. So say it was a big cat that jumped on you. You put 12 rounds of 9 mil into it, that cat's going down. It doesn't matter. And then
Yeah.
to mag dump into it and then nothing happened. Like that's when you're like, holy shit, I need something larger.
Yeah. And it's funny. It's really, really funny too, because the area that it took place, not too far away in the grand scheme of things, is like these big tourist towns.
Oh yeah, because you've got like Traverse City's up there, Ludington's there, and you're just like,
Baldwin.
yeah, Baldwin. That, but a little bit further north of there, though, you also have Camp Grayling up in
Mm-hmm.
Gaylord, and they have some crazy stuff going on out of there too.
Would you care to fill me in on what they kind of got
Yeah.
going up that way? I'm not 100% too familiar with that area.
So Camp Grayling is an Air Force base in northern Michigan, northern lower peninsula of Michigan, and there was there's been numerous reports of Bigfoot sightings on base. And I know I was listening to Uncomfortable with Eric a couple episodes ago, and they had a hunter that was up there, and she had different experiences up there. I've been up there a couple different times looking for stuff. Again, I've never seen anything, but it's such a vast area. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's a huge Bigfoot like community up there. You'll be driving around and you'll see people have Bigfoot stuff all over their property, and there's like restaurants and hotels with giant Bigfoot carvings out of it, and you're just like, all right, well, what's the history behind this? Why this little area of Grayling? Why do they have so much Bigfoot stuff? And then you look into it, and the Bigfoot sightings, like on the BFRO, or I have a Dogman app that has all the reports of different Dogman sightings, and they're all in those little clusters right there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's all sorts. Michigan is one of those states where we have densely populated cities, but once you get out of those cities, there's nothing.
Yeah, it's oh, pretty much like Detroit, Flint, Saginaw. Then you get the west side of the state. You got like St. Joseph, New Buffalo,
Yep. Then you have like
Traverse City.
Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids, and then the further north you get, the smaller the cities get. I mean, up north you'd have maybe Reed City or like Traverse City, which is a population of at the most 8,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you get outside of the city limits, it's just farmland. And the further north you get, the more mountainous it is. Then you get into the UP in the Porcupine Mountains, and there's all sorts of stuff up there.
Dude, mines, limestone out the wazoo, man. It's
Oh man,
copper.
oh Copper Harbor, and
Yeah.
you look at Copper Harbor and all the myths that are in there, and like how. Well, let me back a little bit further south from Copper Harbor, right off the Lake Superior. I think you have or is it Lake Michigan up there too? The Lake Michigan, or I want to say it's the Lake Superior Stonehenge. They have
Oh,
that stone structure. It's like one of the deepest points of the lake, and they just discovered it not too long ago.
is there one up in Superior too? Because I know there's one in the Traverse Bay and Lake Michigan, but it wouldn't surprise me if there was stuff in Lake Superior as well too.
Yeah,
Because now they're finding all these underwater cave systems in Lake Superior and Lake Huron.
absolutely. And it's a once you start digging into it, man, it's interesting. You go down those rabbit holes, and man, you can get lost in them for sure.
And the wild thing about Lake Superior is nothing disappears in Lake Superior.
No, nothing does.
It's so cold that bodies that are down there from shipwrecks from like hundreds of years ago are still preserved.
The wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, that was
Yep.
in that area, and that whole area. Um, I was listening to Cryptids of the Corn, and they did a whole episode of Copper Harbor area and what.
Oh yeah,
Oh man, that was pretty wild.
it was. That was fun. I actually was listening to that one on my way down to Tennessee. I was like, finally, some UP stuff they got going on.
Oh man, yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, speaking of the UP, we also I know you're in the Smoky Mountains, and you guys had the well, I don't know if you saw them, but they have the lights in Tennessee. I I
Yeah,
can't remember
I
what gap it is, but they have like the lights that will flash on and off, and you can see them through the Smokies.
yeah, I can't think of the area though. I don't think we were anywhere near that,
But I
but
know, like we have our own in Michigan, the
uh,
Paulding lights, and I mean, we've had people study them, and like actual college professors would come in and check it out and be like, "Oh, well, it's this and it's this," and then they study it and they're like, "Well, no, it can't be that," because at first it's the light reflections from the highway, 200 miles down the road, and you're like, "There's nothing but woods and a clear cut power line." But like that's a wild story too up there with the lights. Like we were up there 2 years ago because it was me and a couple buddies from the army wanted to go up there and see him. And my one buddy who lives up there, he was, he's like, yeah, I'm not going to go back to it. We're like, why not? Like, come on. He's like, no. I guess one day he went up there with him and his girlfriend went to go see the lights and see what the fuss was all about. And he's always been like a non-believer type of guy. It's always like, oh yeah, it's something. We'll go check it out, whatever. And when he saw the lights, something hit him, and the lights followed him home. And it was like that hitchhiker effect, where he saw it, he freaked out. They got in his truck and drove 45 minutes home, and the lights followed him the entire way. And he was just freaked out by it. And I mean, this is a dude who doesn't get scared. Like I've been in firefights with this guy, and he's just cool, calm, and collect. And for him to say, "Hey, I am not going there," you're like, "Okay, well, I trust this dude. I want to go check it out to see what's got him so terrified."
yeah. I mean, like you said, the dude you were in firefights with him. If something's gonna scare them, man, it might be worth checking out or never thinking about checking out.
Exactly right. Like, man, I'm either gonna go and see it, and I'm gonna be just like him and terrified, or nothing's gonna happen. I'm just gonna make fun of him.
Yeah,
Or,
that's the funniest thing to do.
oh, absolutely. But I mean, so we go up there and we see the lights. They're cool. They just go all over the place randomly. No rhyme or reason for them to do what they do. And talking to the locals, when you go up to the Paulding area and you see the Paulding lights, they actually have it on Google Maps. Like you can actually go see the Paulding lights there, and it's just a giant clear cut. And they have a parking spot and you can watch. And talking to the locals, they're like, "Listen, at night when you go up there to see the lights, do not go into the woods. Like there's the locals would be like, there's something out there. We don't know what it is because we don't go into the woods." And the guys I was with were like, "Hey, that's do we want to?" And at first we're like, "Yeah, we're gonna go do it. Do whatever." And once you're there and you're looking at it and you're like, you know what? Like something hit us like let's not do it today. We'll come back another day and do it.
Yeah. Oh,
But yeah, I still want to make it up there and I still want to hit the woods and check it all out. So there's I think we're gonna try planning a trip up there this summer, but we'll see.
if you do, man, go prepared.
Oh, oh, absolutely. I mean, when me and my buddies do this, I mean, I'm rocking my short barreled AR. I'm carrying my sidearm. I mean, I've got enough mags to weigh me down if I fell into a creek. I mean, I go out loaded, brother, for sure.
All prepared, man. That's the way to do it. I used to think it'd be good with just your sidearm. I carry a 9 mil P320, and after spending some time down in Appalachia, I ain't going out with anything less than a 12 gauge.
Oh man, absolutely. Like, and in all honesty, like it, whatever you came across, Dogman, Bigfoot, whatever paranormal, it's probably not going to do much. But it's just that false sense of security for me. Like I have
Yeah,
this rifle, I trust it. I'm going to do what I'm going to do with it, and I am not going to go down without a fight. So,
yeah. It's funny how these little things give us, like, you keep on saying, the false sense of security. One of the things about when I was down there was, so I just moved states. So I'm in Indiana now. So I just got my Indiana paperwork and all that. So I haven't transferred my pistol from Michigan down. And you know how Michigan is with that kind of stuff.
oh yeah, yeah.
So I was like, I don't want to risk anything. I'm not going to travel across state lines when my license numbers don't match. So the first night I was down there, I didn't have anything. I No pistol, no nothing. I just had a knife on me. So
Oh man.
I'm not going out. I'm staying at base camp tonight. I'll be one of the guys at base camp. And of course, base camp was the most active spot. So at least everybody else has guns. But the second night, somebody had an extra pistol, and they let me carry it, and I felt much better. Still terrified, but
Oh
like you
yeah.
said, that false sense of security.
It's yeah. I'd rather have that than not have it. That's for sure.
So rewinding it a little bit, you're talking about the Bigfoot culture up north, and it's making its way down, and it's moving pretty quick. Because I remember moving up to Sault Ste. Marie, uh, and looking around, I was like, oh my god, everybody's like me here. There's Bigfoot statues everywhere. I went to Lake Superior State. They had Bigfoot stuff there. I'm like, there's Bigfoot everywhere. Like, where's all this stuff down in southern Michigan? But now it's slowly making its way down. There's a couple bars and stuff in
Oh
southwest
yeah.
Michigan. They got
Yep. So
Bigfoot statues.
I was up in the. This is going to sound funny to anyone who's not in this state, but I was at the southern part of the northern Michigan, so like up by like Baldwin area, and I was up there on a turkey hunt, and you'd see people like have Bigfoot statues in their yards and stuff like that, and you'd see signs Bigfoot crossing. So yeah, it's making its way down here for sure, and you wonder if that's because people are getting more into it. It's not taboo anymore to talk about it,
Uh-huh.
and they're just like embracing it. Like, yeah, we have something out here because I mean that area that's the Manistee National Forest right there. There's all sorts of Bigfoot sightings, Dogman stories coming out of there.
It's well, I mean, people don't think about it, but well, they're starting to now. Well, I think we're putting our work in, but people weren't thinking about Michigan as like a Bigfoot state, and we are the Dogman state, but people are just finding out about that.
Yeah, like I mean, growing up here, I heard about Dogman before I heard about Bigfoot. Like you go into the woods, it's Dogman. And
Hmm.
you're like, oh wait, maybe there's Bigfoot around here too. Like, man, that's a double header right there. Cool. But like south of us, Ohio, the Ohio Grassman or the
Hmm.
Ohio Bigfoots, like you hear about that, not so much, you know, the Dogman. But yeah, Michigan is the Dogman state. And then you think about it, like we are in that same area. If you go right across this lake into Wisconsin and like Minnesota there with like the Wendigo, like we're all in that little belt right there.
Yeah, it's. Oh, I mean, we even got Wendigo here in Michigan too.
Yeah,
It, our mutual buddy Shane. I mean, he's seen that one. But
yeah. It's I don't. I mean, I think the only thing we're really missing is like a sea. Well, I don't know. Do we even have a sea monster? Like,
oh yeah, we got Bessie, the Lake Erie monster.
oh,
We got
that's yep. You're
the
right. You're
horned
right.
serpents of Lake Michigan. Uh, the water panther.
Oh yeah. There's a
We got all kinds of stuff.
yeah. So I mean, that shows I'm not much of a fisherman. I should be, but yeah, it's we have that. I don't any reports of skinwalkers around here? Like
So one of my buddies was he says he heard something that might sound like possibly could have been one, and I'm not gonna put it past him. I think
yeah.
that because the area that it was at was actually really my backyard of where I grew up, like not far away. I'm talking my backyard, maybe quarter mile from where my house was. There was a resort, but it's all woods and stuff, and he heard just weird things around his cabin out there, screams, all kinds of stuff that mimicking owls. So
Yeah,
he was
there's
thinking I was a skinwalker.
there's one spot that I can go to religiously, and I mean I was out there last week, and you'll always hear two owls, and it sounds like as soon as you get into like this area, it's probably like 20 yards. This there's a bunch of fallen trees, and it's great for like looking for mushrooms and stuff. But you hear two owls. One would be to the east, one would be to the west, and they're just talking back and forth like as soon as you get out there. Doesn't matter the time of day. And it was so cool. And one day I'm out there and I'm recording it, and you're hearing the owls, and I'm trying to hoot back at them. And then all of a sudden, like they're going from east to west, and it spins like north to south. And you're like, it's almost like they're just circling you, making sure, like checking out what you're doing. And you're like, you start to think about it, like, man, it sounds like an owl, but it sounds like a man making the owl noise too. But they go so fast from one position to the next, and you're like, maybe that's not an owl. Maybe that's something else.
Well, I mean, if we want to go down the path of owls and their correlation with extraterrestrials,
Oh, those gray little shits. Yeah.
yeah, you know just as well as I how big of a hotspot this area is.
Oh, I mean, we were talking about it before the show. The UFO sightings in one night from Ludington to Muskegon to Holland to South Haven, Benton Harbor, and what?
All the way down to New Buffalo.
Yeah, and multiple times, like in that whole stretch. And that, I mean, that was on Unsolved Mysteries. That was in the local newspapers, local news. Like that was pretty crazy.
Thousands upon thousands of reports, man. Even the police officers were calling in MUFON and stuff like that.
Yeah, and not to mention the air traffic controller from Muskegon that witnessed it and he was like the first one to spot it.
Hmm.
And the distance that it would travel and for that speed, at that speed, they're like, we have nothing that could do that. And I don't think we have anything now that would do that.
I believe it. I think it was Leslie Shaw. She commented on one of a post I was in. Either it was the episode I did with Kevin or a different one. from where the weird ones are. But she commented on it like, "Oh yeah, they clock those things going at 73,000 miles an hour."
Yeah, and the altitude was like unbelievable. It'd be like, from 1,000 foot to like 30,000 feet, like just instantaneous.
It's insane, man. There's all kinds of like I don't know if you've seen the radar images that I don't know how true they are, if they're the actual ones or if they're like a recreation, but how fast they're moving on the radar. There's a lot of evidence that proves this night really, really happened.
Oh, absolutely. And then like you start looking into it and like other local sightings, I mean, right on Lake Michigan, you can go down there and you can see stuff every night.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just wild.
So the house where I grew up, we talked about the location. So I was in between Benton Harbor and South Haven, and here was my house. Here was 63, and then Blue Star, and then there was Lake Michigan. So I could look through the woods and see Lake Michigan.
Oh yeah.
And I've seen so many like UFOs growing up.
Oh,
It's crazy.
yeah. And not only that, but that is, I know you've talked about it before in your show, and we'll bring it up now, but the Michigan Triangle, like you and I are like right in the heart of that.
Uh-huh.
And there's been so many reports of UFOs. I mean, planes disappearing. And I want to say that Lake Michigan has the number one collection of World War II planes. I think they were the P-38s that crashed and disappeared in the lake. Like
Oh yeah.
no one's seen them. Then they were flying from Battle Creek at the air base over to Wisconsin and just gone.
hmm So I was on Paranoid Radio with AG a couple weeks ago and talking about the Lake Michigan Triangle, and he likes to do like on the spot research while his guest is talking,
Yeah.
just like the fact checks and stuff like that. And when we were talking, he was like, "Riley, did you know that the Lake Michigan Triangle has thousands upon thousands of more bodies than the Bermuda Triangle
Really?
does? There's way more disappearances." I was like, I assumed that, but I didn't realize to the magnitude at which it was. I was like, oh, there's probably like 1,000 more. No, there's
No,
like
there's
upwards of like 7 to 8,000 more disappearances in the Lake Michigan Triangle than the Bermuda Triangle, and it's only like a third of the size of the Bermuda Triangle.
yeah, because it stretches from the Ludington area down to like the St. Joe Benton Harbor area, and then over to like Green Bay.
Yeah,
Like it's a super small area, and so much stuff happens there. It's just unbelievable. Well, we also have a World War II U-boat right off of Grand Haven,
yeah.
which is crazy because like, why would there be a German U-boat in Lake Michigan?
I don't know, man. And we can get into the talk of like I believe there's a portal and multiple portals in that area. I've been throwing around this theory the last couple months, man, that before the lakes were formed, that it was a mass ritual site because we got the Stonehenge and stuff like that,
Yeah.
all the disappearances and stuff. You know just as well as I the crime that goes along the basin of the Lake Michigan, the trafficking, all that awful stuff, drug and human.
Oh, even back to the Prohibition days, Al Capone was huge in especially your area where you're at.
Uh huh.
And up here where I'm at, there's a lot of elements of Al Capone and that whole Chicago mafia era. And
Yeah.
still to this day, there's a lot of traffic, like sex trafficking. There's all sorts of crazy stuff happens here. And the state game area where I hunt, it's all public land, and each year there's you know 25 to 100 bodies found out there randomly.
It's wild, man. It all the signs point to there's something old, there's something ancient, there's something not good that is in this whole area, which makes sense with the dog men, which makes sense with all the UFOs, which makes sense with the the depending on which version of the Melon Heads you believe and stuff like that.
Exactly. So here's an interesting fact. I know a lot of us who are into this stuff have all heard about the Melon Heads. Uh, I even talked to uh, Tony Merkel about it. Like they're they were working on something and brought them, showed them exactly where it was because my ex-wife actually had a Melon Head encounter with her and her friends back in high school. And
Oh,
I was like, man, that's wild. And then I started looking into it, and the case of Stephen Kubecki, right? The Hope College student from Saugatuck who went missing for, it was like 18 months and was found like 18 months later in, I think, PA with like no recollection of what happened during that time. So from the where he disappeared to where the Melonheads are or reports are at Felt Mansion there, maybe straight line distance 3 miles. Now you put in the UFO connection from that we were just talking about. That's straight line. Like the UFOs were spotted the exact same location. Oh, Stephen Kubecki went missing, which is the exact same location, close enough, within 3 miles of the Melon Heads. And I mean, what other place has that where so many different connections happen? And then to have, what would have been now considered a missing 411 case, then all of a sudden, boom, he reappears and refuses to talk about it.
yeah. Well, if I remember correctly, like to him, it wasn't even 18 months that he was gone.
No, he remembered up until walking to the water, like to the water's edge, and then he remembers waking up in a field. And he was going through his backpack that he had with him. He had no idea where the backpack came from. He had a bunch of stuff in there that was like events that he ran, like different 5Ks or half marathons or whatever. And he finally flagged someone down and was able to call, I want to say like his aunt or something, and reach out to a family member who was like, I could only imagine what their response was hearing from a loved one or a relative that you had a funeral for. Like it, it was unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, a year and a half's a long time, man. It's
Oh, absolutely.
so I don't know if so you're close. So did you have as a kid sticking on the melon heads? Like don't go out in the woods at night, the melon
Oh,
heads are gonna get you kind of stuff.
oh man, it was, don't go out at night. Don't, if you're gonna go into the woods, be back before dark. And yeah, you'd always hear the melon heads or the wobble heads, or then you'd hear stories of what they were. And back in that time, back in like the 90s and early 2000s, me and my buddies would go to that area of Felt Mansion and like the uh, like the state dunes area. So there's a lot of dunes, a
Uh-huh.
lot of thick forest, pine forest, and then there's caves in there too. Like there's all sorts of little caves. So of course, back in high school, you'd be like, oh man, let's go check it out. So me and my buddies would all go out there and just check it out. Well, the mansion that was there, it was like an old prison or an old hospital. Everyone has that, right? But this one
Yeah.
was actually a legit hospital. Well, it was abandoned, and it was, no one really owned it, or the city owned it or something. So we used to, I don't condone it now, being my age, but we used to go in there and check it out, and
Hmm.
it was wild. Like there was an ominous feel about it. You'd walk in there and it felt off. And there was a local radio station that every year for Halloween they would go there and set up and do a live show from there. And numerous times all their equipment would fail, or they would like it was crazy. All sorts of stuff happened there. And in '05 I left to join the army, and forgot about it, never went back out there. And then just recently, once I got out, I was talking to my buddies. I'm like, oh, I know a place we can go check out, thinking it was still abandoned. And we rolled up to it, and it's all renovated, brand new. It's like an event center.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
do weddings and stuff.
yeah. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, man, this place has so much history, and like not good history either. Like crazy stuff happened in this area, and now people are getting married there, and now you're having all these like wonderful memories there, and you're like, man, I don't know if that's good or not. You know?
I don't know, man. So I I've been meaning to. I'm gonna go take a night drive up there here soon and just go through the area and see what happens because you know, the woods and stuff haven't been renovated around it.
Oh no, they're still wild, man. We go up there quite a bit, so.
Now you mentioned caves, so I've heard stories and stuff of caves up in the area. I've personally never seen one up there, but I always went south instead of north.
Okay, yeah.
I, I'd go head down towards like New Buffalo and like Warren Dunes State Park and stuff like that instead of driving up to Saugatuck, even though there's the exact same distance.
Yep, yep.
I don't know why. So they got like
Yeah.
just caves hidden
So
in the
they have
bluffs and
yep, they'll have cave systems out there that connect into the Lake Michigan area. Now, you're looking at maybe 1,000 yards to a mile from the water's edge of Lake Michigan that you'll find these cave systems, and they'll start off small. I mean, and when I say small, I'm talking like you might be able to crawl through them. And once you'd find those, you'd crawl through them, and it would open up, and that's when you'd go and explore it and stuff like that.
no.
But yeah, and it's just you have to know where you're looking, and because they're not going to promote, hey, we have caves out here, come check it out. I mean,
Yeah,
that area is a really it, it's a really rich area. There's a lot of money in that area.
yeah.
I mean, like a lot, and anything bad that happens gets covered up quickly. I mean, for instance, one time I had my truck broken into and a bunch of guns stolen out of it, and so did a lot of other people on that road. And you'd call and make a report, and you'd never hear anything about it. They would just kind of like brush everything under the table, like, nope, nope, it's a nice area. We got to, keep the people coming into this area. We got to keep the economy going. Like, this is a nice upscale area where there's a lot of craziness that happens in that upscale area.
Dude, like I used to do you'll know what this is, ain't nobody else gonna know what this is. I used to help a buddy who knew a guy that would do repairs and stuff and like winterizing on the house on the fire lanes.
Oh yeah,
So I would go out there. You don't even know these mansions are there, and these aren't like $1 million mansions. These are like 5 to 8 million, 10 million, $20 million homes.
oh my
You
gosh, yeah,
you can't even see, just hidden out in the woods.
yeah. I mean, there's numerous places out here where there'll be, like you said, $20 million homes, and they're off on like you said, a fire lane, like a, a I don't even want to say a road, like a 2-track trail that they would drive their Land Rovers down, and like that's their house.
Yeah, which ties back to the a Melon Heads thing that I heard about, and so I know somebody who's a very well respected carpenter in Southwest Michigan, and he told me that there's these tunnels out there that lead to these multi-million-dollar mansions that you can only get to, like you said, through these 2 tracks or like helicopters and stuff like that. And what they'll do is they'll have security officers at the end of these tunnels that will blast like feral people sounds, just using the legends of the Melonheads to actually scare people away.
Oh, absolutely. So I heard that story as well, but it was in the South Haven area, and it was from like you said, well-respected people. Like, this is coming from my family members, and they would say that a lot of these tunnels were used for like during the Prohibition era with Al Capone, and they were running moonshine back and forth, especially going to Chicago because that's where they were at, and we were only 100 miles from Chicago at the most.
If that,
Yeah,
yeah.
and you know these tunnels that they were using, they were already there.
Mhm.
So you're like, okay, well, what were they there for? And like we were talking about earlier, nothing good happens in a tunnel system, like at all.
No, not at all, man. It's wild, and that was always one of those things that growing up that made me think, oh, maybe the Melon Heads are real, maybe they're not. I'm not gonna put it past anything. Like worst case scenario, it's not necessarily a melon head. It's like an imp or something, like or a face spirit. It could be anything. But yeah, it's quite wild. And with going to the cave systems, this had to be like 5 6 years ago on the confessionals. Talking about Tony earlier, he had a dude from Allegan who,
So that's,
oh,
yeah, that is where I live. I live in Allegan, and I
oh,
heard that, and I was like, I'm gonna check. And like I listened to that episode like 6 or 7 times, like trying to pinpoint where he is or like where he was. And I'm pretty sure I know exactly where that's at, and I'm gonna go check it out. But it's might be 600 yards from my house right now.
with the reptilians and all
Yep.
that kind of stuff, dude. I I want to check. That's on my goal because I got some buddies that live out there as well. I'm just like maybe I can.
Like,
That,
yeah, I was listening to it, and they were talking about that cave system, and they were describing it, and I'm like, this image in my head popped up. I'm like, I know right where that's at, and I drive past it almost twice a day, going back and forth to work, and every time I drive past it, I'm like, I need to stop and check it out. But part of me is like, if I go and check it out, I want to make sure that I have everything with me. Like, I want to have my rifle with me. I want to have flashlights, different, lots of different batteries. Like, I want to make a game plan and hit it up.
see, I would almost want to take on a dogman or a Bigfoot 1v1 than a reptilian.
Oh
Just
my
off
god.
some of the stuff out here because they're hyper intelligent, man.
Oh yeah, not. I mean, like, you think of that, and then you're like, okay, well, a reptilian, like, that's some like Area 51 type shit right there.
Yeah,
Like, I'm I'm not necessarily wanting to go toe to toe with a reptilian. I mean, I don't want to go toe to toe with a gray either, but I would rather take a gray on than a reptilian.
yeah. Like I've heard enough stories of people taking out grays or even just calling upon the name of Jesus and the grays disappear.
Oh yeah,
But I, you don't hear too many people talk about their encounters with reptilian. Never heard a positive one,
no,
and I
not at all.
and I think there would be a lot more if people survived. I don't think there's a high survivability rate of those because
No,
I think they can do whatever they want. I mean, they already run the government.
I mean, yeah, between that and like the was it Eisenhower who did the alien treaty
Yeah,
and was like, hey, we'll give you X amount of people, you give us this technology, and like you, I say that and I see a shadow walking outside my window. I'm like, oh, neighbor's home. But like that, you wonder like, okay, well, are all these reptilians and stuff that are living underground, are they all connected through tunnel systems like we were talking about, and like different bases? Because I mean, there's quite a few different military bases here in Michigan as well.
oh yeah, and they're all pretty evenly dispersed.
Oh yeah, and then I know every couple years, Michigan, the Air National Guard will run scenarios where they practice landing their planes on the roads and highways here. And you're
Oh
like,
yeah, that happens in Benton Harbor all the.
yeah, exactly. And you're like,
Uh,
okay, like, why are they doing this? Why do they need to use 94 or Blue Star as a runway? Like, and they'll do that. They'll land, and then all day they'll just sit there, and the police will have the whole area blocked off, They're there for, a entire day, and then they take off. And you're like, well, what did that prove? What are they doing there? If you're just going to land the plane and take back off, you don't need an entire 14-hour period to do that.
It, what I heard, because when they finished up 31 north, because that was closed off. I don't even remember. I'm 25 years old, and I did not see that thing open until I was 23. So I don't know what they claimed it was because the Mitchell Sater butterfly,
Oh yeah,
that was part of its migratory path. They're only found two places in the world: the Paw Lake watershed and somewhere out in China. But I think there was something else. But when they opened that up because they wanted to test it by landing a plane on it, they're like, "Oh, it's just in the case of an emergency landing, or if there's a war on the home turf, we're going to use these highways, these straight shot highways, as like air bases,
yeah.
makeshift air bases."
Eh, Not to mention, like, well, down in that area too, you have a power plant. You have like,
Two of them.
yeah, two of them, and one of them is just it was shut down, and now they're reopening it. Like it was,
Wait,
yeah. Why?
there's no. So I was talking, all my family, the power plant, I come from a power plant family. All my family
Yep.
generations have either worked at Palisades or Cook. That's just where you worked. It was good money, good hours, good benefits.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
you can take care of a family working there, and so they learn a lot generation wise. They're like, there's no point in opening Palisades back up because the reactors that they have there now cannot produce enough power to offset the cost to even run it. So they're talking about putting some mini reactors and stuff in and like that, apparently. But still, there's no benefit to it. The amount of money that they're going to pour into it
Well,
is
yeah,
it's
and
not going to level out.
not to mention how much they wanted to close it. Like the entire state was like, we have to close Palisades. We don't need it open. We're running a skeleton crew as it is. We don't. We're just going to shut it down. And it was shut down for what, like 2 years, and now they're like, we have to reopen it.
So I know so many people that lost their jobs, but because of it, like the only people that didn't were some of the security officers. They're like, yeah, we're gonna, like you said, skeleton crew, 20 security officers just posted all over, and that's all they need.
Oh
But
yeah.
now there's so much work there. I'm half tempted to move back up to Michigan. I'm gonna go start working there.
Oh man, you're not kidding, dude. I would love to do that.
Oh, they're paying really, really good too right now. So I mean, anybody that's listening, if you need a job, I heard they're even paying housing per diems to get people. They need that many people that they're calling people from all over to move to work on this place.
Yeah, if someone's listening and wants to move up here, I mean, not only is it great job, awesome benefits, but I mean, dude, we have cryptids, we have the paranormal, we have pretty amazing hunting. Go follow my podcast for that side of the stories.
Yeah,
But no, like Michigan, all in all, is a great state. The history behind it, the cryptids, like you were talking about, the water panthers. I mean, you have everything from sea creatures to dog. I mean, we're the home of dog man. Let's face it. Like that's awesome.
yeah. I mean, you don't want to see one.
Oh
Oh, I
God,
mean,
no.
we do, but the average Joe does not want to see a dog man.
Yep. And chances
But
are they would be the ones to saw them or see them.
yeah, it seems like the people that don't want to see them uh, end up seeing them because or don't even know what they are. I don't know why that is. There's got to be some kind of thing to it. Maybe it's to play into like the fear because they some people say they feed off fear. If you have no idea what this thing is and you see it, I feel like you're going to be the most scared compared to somebody like you or I who's looked into it, researched it, gone looking for it, sees
Oh,
one. I mean,
absolutely.
we're still going to be terrified, but it's not going to be the same as somebody that doesn't believe in this kind of stuff.
I mean, your everyday Michigander or even a tourist up here, you see a dog, man. I mean, let's face it, the first thing they're going to think of is a werewolf.
Yeah,
Like
like some Van Helsing kind of stuff.
exactly right. You see, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Silver Bullet with Gary
Mm-hmm.
Busey. Like that's what I
Yeah.
picture Dogman as, like this giant, massive werewolf,
Oh yeah.
and that's terrifying right there.
Oh man, I want to see one just so I can say I did, but I want it to be like one of those like 60 to 80 yard encounters through like
Driving at like 90 miles an hour, like, oh, there it goes.
some like or got some binoculars. Just all right. I can keep my distance as long as I don't shoot at it. I should be fine.
Oh,
Kind of deal.
absolutely. And all right, so let's talk about that for a minute. We're both into guns, we're into shooting and stuff like that. What would be your caliber that you'd choose to go up against the Dogman?
I've heard a lot of people say they'd use like 5.56 or something like that. Honestly, I think 12. If I had a 12 gauge, like, and I was nice and close, I wouldn't want anything other than a 12 gauge slug. Like, if I knew I was gonna hit it, that I think that would be plenty because that's gonna do a lot of damage. If not, it's gonna at least blow them back. Because I mean, if you're hitting with,
Yeah,
you,
if
you're
you're
not, you're not gonna take it down with a pistol.
oh yeah, I mean, like I've thought about it, and I'm one of those gun nerds, so I'm like, man, 10 millimeter, 10 millimeter is my pistol I would go with, and like you said, 12 gauge with like 1 ounce slug, and then I'm like, well, if I had a rifle, it'd have to be like a 308, like AR-10 platform, or
Mhm.
like an /6, like a 30-06, because that's just that would drop anything on North America, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, man. Maybe that's what I'll take out with me.
Right?
I gotta find it, but yeah, I got a 30-06 somewhere.
But I mean, like, and those are the scenarios. I'll sit here at my house and I'm like, man, I would watch like a Dogman documentary or something, and I'm like, what would I use? Like, I'll warp or war game it and be like, man, what would I use on that dude? But I don't think it would really help. I really don't.
now, now, if there's like a whole crew of us out there, like all mag dumping into it, I think we would have a chance. I don't know how Joe Barger dropped that one, especially with a 9.
Dude, yeah.
I think it was just perfect placement,
Yeah, it
like
had to be. I mean,
right through the eye or something.
yeah.
Because I feel like their bone density is so much denser, and obviously their muscle mass is way bigger than our human one. So they could probably take them, but
That stuff hits you in
everything's got a
the eye,
vulnerable
yeah.
spot.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, maybe that's instead of aiming center mass, we need to aim for their little eyes. But man, that'd be terrifying looking through that dude's face with your rifle. I mean, those things are brutal looking.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna throw a plug in there right now. If anybody needs some critters hit up my boy Drewski at CW Operations. Because when I tell you this man has a plan for everything, any cryptid, this man's got a plan. And if the plan don't work, tell you what, he's probably got about 5 more lined up. So
You gotta have those
it,
pace plans, man.
he firsthand experience with that man. He knows what he's doing, and he is prepared for most situations.
Dude,
I will say that.
I haven't had a chance to talk with him yet. I'd love to, but I've listened to a lot of his shows on the different podcasts, and it's like, man, that dude knows what's going on for sure.
I'll get you guys in contact. I'll send I'll send both of you guys each other's info afterwards because I feel like you guys could get something going there because similar interest in the similar topics with similar motives in enacting the actions.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Man, Michigan's weird, man.
It is. It's one of those states where you hear Bigfoot sightings, you think of the Pacific Northwest and like Ohio, the Appalachian area, and we have a little bit of Bigfoot, but I mean, like we were talking about, Dogman is that's our Michigan cryptid for sure, right there.
Yes, it is. So, you got any? We're about to hit an hour. I mean, we can keep on going, but there is one thing I want to ask you. Because your main show, you're hunting.
Yeah, yep.
You got any crazy hunting stories or like some funny ones?
Oh man, they're they're all crazy at their times. See, I probably one of the funniest would be I was out in Kansas out bow hunting, or no, Kansas I was rifle hunting for whitetail, and I'd gone out there for 5 days. I was gonna do a hunt, and Kansas is like the mecca for whitetail hunting. And I'm out there, and I have my buddy with me. He's spotting for me and stuff. And I'm looking for this trophy whitetail, right? And I'm out there looking, and he's like, no, 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 let that one walk, let that one walk. And I'm like, dude, this is like day 4 of a 5-day hunt, and you're telling me to let all these deer go. He's like, don't worry, we'll get one tomorrow. And it's the last day of the hunt. So we go out there, and dude, it was like 90 degrees. It was just a fluke, like a freak warm day. No deer came out. It was like half hour before sunlight. I'm like, man, or half hour before the sun goes down, this one deer comes out at like 300 yards. And my buddy's like, just shoot it, man. I'm like, will do, will do. So I shoot this deer and it crumbles down. I'm like, all right, great. Let's go up there and check it out. And dude, it was like the smallest deer I've ever shot. So I'm in Kansas, the birthplace of giant whitetails, and I shoot this deer that was probably like maybe 75 pounds. Like you could pick it up just holding it up.
Oh man,
And it was, yeah, I was that guy at deer camp that brought back the smallest one. Like the spots must have just got brushed off of it or something, man.
that's that's the worst, man.
But
See, I didn't do too much hunting growing up. I was real big into the fishing scene, and but all my buddies hunted, so I've heard some very similar stories. Like, oh, they go up to deer camp up by like Baldwin or something like that, and just go up to some of that public land. Like very similar stories. You got some trophies that are just walking by. Oh, there's gonna be something bigger the next day. There's gonna be
oh
something bigger the
yeah.
next day, and they get some little dough is what they end up walking out with, and it's just like,
So in 2010, I was in the army and I was deploying to Afghanistan. So I looked at where we're going on a map and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like perfect ibex sheep area. So an ibex sheep, for people who don't know, it's this giant ram with like the horns curve all the way back and there's like knobs on it. Really cool looking animal. And to hunt one costs about anywhere from 75 to $100,000 to go out there and hunt it. And I'm in like the prime heartland of ibex sheep in Afghanistan. And I'm like, you know what? If I see an ibex, I'm going to shoot one. And everyone in my chain of command was like, they knew me, and they're like, don't do that. I'm like, no, 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 I'm going to. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm going to get one on the ground, and then I'll say I'm sorry. But so we were up in the mountains one day in northern Afghanistan, and we're at. It was me and like this 4-man team. I have 3 dudes overlooking this village, and I'm just up blasting the mountains looking for something. And then all of a sudden, one of my buddies is like, "Hey, have you ever seen that movie, The Fourth Kind?" Dude, and I turned at him, and I had just seen it, and I was like, "Yeah, like, it's a crazy movie." And we were talking about it and how, like, in that movie that they're up in Alaska and like that spaceship would come down and like grabs that kid up like right from their home, and they have the owls and everything like that, like we were talking about earlier.
uh-huh.
And it went from like running this mission where we're pulling surveillance to me looking for ibex sheep to like all of us huddling together, like staring at the sky, like, man, this is some creepy stuff right now. Like,
that that movie traumatized me
oh my
as a
god.
child.
So
My
That movie scared the shit out of me, and I don't like scary movies. I mean, I'll watch them, but they terrify me. And my ex-wife bought me a white owl, like a stuffed animal as a prank. And I remember walking out of the bedroom, and she like holds it up like that and scared the shit out of me. Like I'm a 30-year-old man who was screaming like a little girl. Like,
My dad, he was terrified of Fire in the Sky.
oh my
That
god, that movie got me too.
that was his big one.
That
So
that scene
he
with Travis Walton getting drugged through the spaceship, like, and you see the grays, and oh my god,
oh dude, my my parents, they loved horror movies, which was funny because I was terrified of everything growing up. But they would make me watch these. So from when I was like 4 years old in preschool, so like 2004 to like 2011, they would make me watch all the. They only made me watch the Alien ones. I don't know why. They never made me watch anything like Nightmare on Elm Street or anything like that.
yeah,
They watched those, but they never made me watch those. But they always made me watch the Alien ones, and so I was just completely terrified of all the stuff. And then I started watching Ancient Aliens, and then I was good, but no, the White Owls, that stuff scared
yeah.
me.
Oh, dude, same with me. White Owls, Fire in the Sky was like you had said. That movie got me as well.
Yeah. What was the one? I can't remember if you. I think it's classified as an alien. Dream Catchers,
Yeah, with
dude.
Morgan
That movie.
Freeman. That
That
movie
one
is
was.
crazy.
If that's like if nobody's watched that movie, watch it. It is really weird, and you'll never be able to think of Scooby Doo the same.
No, not at all. Like that I haven't seen that movie in so long. I might have to check that one out again.
Same, actually. I think next time my brother comes down, I think I might make him watch it with me. I haven't seen that movie in about 15 years now.
Yeah, probably about the same here.
There's so many good ones, and the scary thing is there's probably a lot of truth to all of them. I know the fourth kind. There's a lot of truth to that. I think they were given some information to.
The fourth kind hits on a whole different level because they hit the the paranormal, they hit the aliens, then they also go into the religious aspect where they're speaking Aramaic. Like the Greys in that movie are speaking Aramaic and saying how there is no hope. There's only us, and it's just, dude, that movie hits hard.
Hey, did you ever watch Signs?
Oh yeah,
That was the big one for me. That did it end for me. I That movie has stuck with me so much throughout my life in so many different situations. Uh, Here's a funny story. And so back in high school, I used to like to smoke marijuana quite a bit. I was a frequent user, and me and my friends thought it'd be a good idea to watch Signs while stoned out of our gourds. So we've all already seen it. It's one of our favorite movies in that friend group. Well, I go to bed. We're staying at my buddy's house. So he's got a bunk bed and then his main bed. So I'm sleeping on the top bunk. His brother's sleeping on the bottom, and him and his girlfriend are sleeping in their bed. His brother and my friend, they passed out. It's thunderstorming outside and stuff, lightning like crazy, and we're right on the lake. So I call out to my buddy's wife. I'm like, "Hey Sam, you awake?" She's like, "Yeah." "Are you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm too high to go to sleep, and I'm kind of scared." She's like, "Why?" And I was like, "I think the aliens are gonna get us." And just as I said that, lightning flashed, and it looked like something was on the roof of the neighbor's house. I saw it like that scene in Signs when it lightnings and there's the thing just standing on the
yep,
roof. I was like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, Sam, they're here," and we just both start bawling our eyes out.
dude, that movie, that scene got me, and then the scene where they use the knife to look under the door and that hand comes out. Oh man, pretty much
Oh,
pissed a little bit on that one.
Have you heard the theory about that movie that they're actually not aliens and that they're actually demons?
I haven't heard that one actually.
So some dude went and broke it down, and all the crop circles are actually like sigils and like ritual sigils, and that the aliens are they're actually demons because if you notice, obviously when spoilers to on a movie that came out 11 years ago, I mean 21 years ago, man, I'm old.
Oh man.
When they splash the water on them, they start burning and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Well, if you notice throughout the movie, the dad's the pastor, so he's all the daughter's always asking the dad, "Hey, can you get me some water?" So like he's blessing it and stuff like essentially.
Oh
She's
man.
getting so it's holy water that they're splashing on these things
That is crazy. I never thought of that. And yeah, you're absolutely right.
because we never see a craft in the movie.
No.
So that's just I saw that and it blew my mind away, and it's like it kind of really makes sense and how they're able to just do what they do.
Oh yeah. Dude, now I'm gonna have to rewatch that one with that whole fact in mind.
It changes the movie completely. And it's got Mel Gibson in it, so
Right? I mean, it's never a
it's a
bad
good
time.
movie. Oh man. Well, man, I think I think we've had a good time right here, and I think for sure I can have you back on the future, and we can talk about a bunch of other stuff. And from the sounds of like it, because we're gonna have to go out on a hunt sometime.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, we'll definitely. And if we don't see anything hunting, we'll just go out fishing and see what we can do,
Yeah.
man. I mean, we'll just shoot the shit that way too.
All right, man, I'm down. Maybe check out them caves. Who
Dude,
knows?
I am 100% down for that.
I'm, I got some people I can hit up that make it. We'll do it safely.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I ain't messing with reptilians with just two dudes. I'm not gonna lie, man.
No, not at all, dude. We'll need a whole fire team, at least.
I know just the dudes to hit up too.
Dude. Get Drewski up here, man. He'll check it out with us.
Exactly. Him and his team will be here in a heartbeat.
Dude, hell yeah.
But we can work something out off the mic, man. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you one more time before we get out of here?
Yeah, for sure. I'm co-host of a hunting podcast. We do a live YouTube every Tuesday and Sunday at 8 p.m. It's called Whitetail Advantage. Then you can also check me out on Instagram at Nitro Outdoors. And yeah, that's about it.
All right, man. I'll have you send me all the links and stuff. It'll be in the description down below for everybody. And with that being said, brother, thank you for coming on the show. This was a blast. It was nice to talk about these things that I've already talked about before, but with somebody who else that knows them.
Oh, dude, I want to say thanks because I'm that weird guy in my podcast group where I'm huge into the paranormal, the cryptids. So I'm always asking people, I'm like, hey, what's your crazy hunting story with like cryptids? Like, did you ever see this? And they're like, no, man, no. Like, why are you asking me this? So I love going down these rabbit holes, brother.
It was fun, man. It was fun, and I'm looking forward to the next time.
Oh, absolutely, man. I can't wait.
Well, with all that being said, everybody, thank you for joining me this week. Thanks for making 1 year possible. And God bless each and every one of you. I'll catch you next week. And don't forget to check out the live show tomorrow. Bye.